Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Live from Kansas, welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV. This afternoon we get set to duke it out one final time in the regular series season before we reset things for the playoffs on Sunday nights. Good afternoon everybody and welcome to the show. My name is Ola Rambo, bringing you all of racing action from start to finish on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's going to be a wild one here this afternoon. Of course, we are now in the end game for the 25th year of racing for the American Sim Racing League. And of course, this is season number 3 of their NextGen Cup Series. After tonight, we will reset things for the playoffs, where we will begin a 3-race shootout to see who will take home the trophy at season's end at a venue that has not yet been confirmed, but we know the 2 that preceded. Of course, next week, we run it out at the Texas Motor Speedway, and then it's the last short track of the season, North Wilkesboro Speedway, sported 250 laps in just a couple of weeks. So there's still a long way to go yet before this championship is over, and you know for a fact that everybody is going to be in some tight points battles here all throughout this afternoon. You take a look at the points battle for the top 10 coming into tonight. Brody Gunter still on top, and nothing is stopping him so far. So far, the only driver that is over 1,000 points in the championship stand is, of course, the big fight will go down for the 10th place spot. Michael Milfeld Jr. right now 10 points clear of Casey Campbell and Matt Schlosser, who are tied for the 11th place spot. Schlosser, of course, not here this afternoon. He had to back out of official competition, making this battle between Milfeld, Campbell, to see who will take home that final critical position. Other drivers not yet safe: Kyle Zittel and Alex Howland. Everybody else from about 7th place on up, so Jared Williams, Josh Rutherford, Tommy Cook, Corey Rutherford, Paul Ellison, and Joshua Hickey pretty much locked into the playoffs as things stand. So at this point, all we're doing is running down the laps, and it's one more 160 lap ride from this 1.5-mile speedway before we'll close things out for the regular series season. Kansas Speedway is one of the fastest mile-and-a-half tracks that you got on the calendar, and it is also regarded as one of the most treacherous to boot. It is not an easy place to try to get some moves on, not an easy place to try to overtake, and it's going to be, I think, a really entertaining show. It's going to be full of strategy. It's going to be full of aggression, and all of this will take us in for an absolutely thrilling drive this afternoon. One notable name that we're seeing make a return to the ASRL NextGen Cup Series actually is going to be that of Hunter Engrove. Right now, he has himself, with only a couple of starts so far in season number 2, so far 4 throughout the championship. He has started at Indianapolis, iRacing Super Speedway, Pocono, and of course at Charlotte. 2 pole positions, but only 1 race win. In the other 3 races, he has crashed out of competition. It has not really been a season to remember for Hunter Engrove, and he has bowed out of official competition as well. So he is just, I think, here to get some last-minute runs in before we'll close things out. Qualifying has been underway for the last 5 minutes. Due to a little bit of a session glitch, it is open qualifying throughout the course of the afternoon, and that has led to a bit of a shake-up so far on the top of the points boards, with one Corey Rutherford currently sitting on top, but only 15 seconds are left in this qualifying session, and that we'll see how set things up for the first lap of what will be 160 this afternoon. Brody Gunter, the man that enters this race well over 150 points clear with a points lead, currently putting down only a time good enough for the number 5 position. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to improve any at all. So it's an interesting run to see Gunter started so far down the racetrack. But he's a guy that's been able to play the strategy game all season long. And I have no doubt we're going to be seeing him back on top before this championship is fully closed up. Or at least before the regular season championship is closed up this afternoon. So with all that said and done, we're just waiting now for the final few cars across the line and close out this qualifying session before we'll get things fully underway. And we're going to take things over to the official race session. 16-15 cars going to get set to roll on out this afternoon. And this is how they'll line on up one more time on the regular series season. Corey Rutherford starts his race from pole for work in progress, racing alongside Nate Morris, 200ths out of the Carolinas. Josh Rutherford starts in 3rd. Alex Howland is back in 4th. Brody Gunter is 5th. Paul Ellison is in 6th. From there, it is Kyle Zittel in 7th, Josh Mahiki in 8th. Jake Erickson making his first ever start with the ASRL, started the number 9 position for the NextGen Cup Series at least. Jared Williams starts in 10th, Rene Garcia in 11th, Mark Krinke will be back in 12th. From there, it is Tommy Cook, Travis Fleming, and Hunter Engrove to bring out the 15-car field. Just waiting now on a few more cars to grid on up before we'll get things underway. It's going to be a wild one for sure this afternoon, and we're ready to roll from Kansas. So Joshua Higgy, Rene Garcia, Travis Fleming, and Engrove are the cars that we are currently waiting on, with everybody else already gridded up and ready to go. Just shy of 250 miles this afternoon. We want to get the perfect 250, be looking at about 167 laps, but hey, I like 160 better anyway. It's a nice round number on terms of the lap counter. It's a good one to see. You can see Bendy, the pace car driver, still waiting very, very patiently. Travis Fleming taking his time at the tail end of the field. He is the lone driver we are waiting on. He's set to line up alongside Tommy Cook. And if he doesn't get a move on, he might very well miss his gridding session, and that would mean a pit road start. Not an ideal run, but he will get himself just barely clocked in right at the buzzer. So we're going to put that Ford Mustang FR500S in a gear, and the iRacing pace car going to roll out from pit road. Again, remember, Milfeld Jr. needed to score 10 points today, but he is currently not in contention. The next furthest driver back with a chance to try to get in would be that of Casey Campbell. The one that needed to score 10 points. So, of course, you're looking for Campbell, you're looking for Milfeld, you're looking for Hamby right now. Hamby is not here this afternoon. Milfeld is not here this afternoon. And nor is Casey Campbell. And continuing down through the order, I don't think we're really going to have anybody that's able to mount a charge. I mean, Nate Morris from further in the field could possibly have a chance, and Nate Morris could, in fact, steal away the last of the playoff spots before we get the playoffs kicked off in a couple of weeks. As always, we're happy that you're joining us here for some more racing action on a Sunday night. The iRacing pace car pulls at a pit road. Now in the hands of Corey Rutherford. He'll take us into the Geico restart zone. Green flags up. It's go, go, go from Kansas. Corey Rutherford jumping away to an early lead. How about Brody Gunter already up 3 spots? He is into the number 2 spot. Everybody else fanning out behind as we work down the front straightaway for the first time tonight. Kyle Zittel dropping back in a hurry. Joshua Rutherford still hanging on to the number 3 spot. Dave Morris loose on the top shelf. He's just going to keep that car underneath his work to the back straightaway. Whoa, Ellison and Jarrett Williams getting into each other down the back straightaway. Still 3 wide. Deep in the field, along with the 313 of Mark Krinke as they work down to 3 and 4 this time by. A relatively aggressive opening few laps then from Kansas. And still 3 wide everywhere you look. And this time it's Joshua Egan to back out for the middle. He is still in line with Nate Morris, and taking one away for the inside was going to be that number 49 car of one Hunter Engrove. A lot of drivers still side by side, 2 by. The further down you get in this field, Zittel alongside Engrove. Brody Gunter has caught Corey Rutherford for the race lead, but no move being made yet for the top spot. Engrove takes one away from Kyle Zittel. He'll sweep up the racetrack. Hickey alongside with Jarrett Williams. Down to the bottom shelf, it's Jake Erickson making his NextGen Cup Series debut here this afternoon with the American Sim Racing League. Working down the low side of turn numbers 1 and 2. Nate Morris up into the outside wall, coming down the back straightaway. And it's going to be Krinke now trying to go up against Jarrett Williams. Williams still hanging this one down from the low side. And then up the field, Joshua Hickey. Oh, just managing to squeeze by Kyle Zittel. And now up the racetrack, contact and put into the wall is going to be the 313 of Krinke. You're right on board of Travis Fleming, just got tight in turn 2, washed up the racetrack and punted the 313 up and into the fence. Meanwhile, Erickson still making some solid moves. He is alongside Kyle Zittel. Further up the field, Alex Howland breaking around the outside of Rene Garcia, fights his way onto a podium. A great drive there for him. Now to the inside shelf is going to be Erickson and Zittel. Jarrett Williams still waiting in the wings, then Krinke and Morris. Back up to the high side. Tracking low, down into turn numbers 1 and 2. Now it's Zittel almost getting into the door of Williams. Still a lot of aggressive dogfighting going on deep in the pack. Up front, they've gotten single filed out, but all these drivers further down the field, they have not got to the memo to get single filed out, and that is really causing a massive slow up of drivers. And could Brody Gunter potentially have a look down the inside of Corey Rutherford? For now, Rutherford maintains the lead. Oh boy. Problems behind as Joshua Hickey, wicked sideways, coming around through turn numbers 1 and 2. And just able to maintain his run in that car. Kyle Zittel now fights to the inside of Jarrett Williams. Take a quick jump back here on what happened to Joshua Hickey. Deep in the pack. Well, it doesn't look like much from there, but there was a lot of smoke flying out of the tail end of those tires. He was working a big time trying to keep that car underneath him. Krinke back to the bottom shelf of Williams. Williams in the number 24 Toyota Camry slides up the racetrack. Keeps it out of the outside wall. Krinke has not stopped fighting for spots ever since the green flag dropped. You can see everybody in the field right now still in the length of one straightaway. And for the first time, all race long, we're single file all the way through the field. And just as that happens, here comes Brody Gunter, looking to make the charge to the race lead. Gunter going to take this one round the long way of turn numbers 1 and 2 as they fight to the American Ethanol backstretch. Still 2 abreast. Corey Rutherford down low, Gunter up high, Alex Howland in the mix, and this is slowly dragging more cars into the fray. Gunter leads lap number 13 at the stripe, or lap 12 at the stripe. Working on to lap 13, drives it in deep into turn 1, trying to get some overspeed. But in doing so, washes too high up the racetrack. Driving it in deep into turn numbers 3 and 4. Gunter might have him here coming down the pit straight. Is he clear? Yes, he is. Brody Gunter clears to the race lead. Levy Rutherford now in a side-by-side with Alex Howland. Howland going to get through. Rene Garcia now trying to make a look for third. And Engrov trying to bump the 5 down to the tail end of the top 10. It was a great start for Corey Rutherford, but now he is hemorrhaging positions. He's dropped 4 spots in just 2 laps. He's finally going to stop the bleeding around that 5th place spot, but now Joshua Hickey trying to make tracks on the high side as well. Dragging up to the back end of the work in progress. Small Music Productions, Chevy Camaro shoots for the inside, and Hickey is through to 5th. Corey Rutherford bumped off from the top 5. Gunter trying to open up a gap from Alex Howland. There's double file for third as well. Now it's Hunter Engrov trying to look around the high side of Rene Garcia. Engrov just gets in there. Garcia forced to tuck back in line. How about Joshua Rutherford? Joshua Rutherford trying to make up some spots, but he's got a big contender here with Jake Erickson trying to get around him as well. Like his brother, Joshua is down 4 positions. Corey down 5 now from where they started in this race. Nate Morris way up to the high side. Morris needed a good finish if he wants to get himself into playoff contention. The good news right now for Morris is the fact that all of his playoff competition is not here this afternoon. So right now, effectively nothing stopping him from trying to make up enough points to get into the top 10. Alex Howland under fire by Hunter Engrov for the number 2 spot. But looking like Engrov is going to come under fire first from Rene Garcia before he can properly make a move on that number 2 Mustang. Tell you what, a good, hard-fought race so that these guys are having with each other as we track through turn numbers 1 and 2, fighting our way down to the back straightaway. Oh, Howland catching the wall coming out of turn 2. And that opens up the door for Hunter Engrov to shoot down the inside and steal the number 2 position. On board with Rene Garcia as Alex Howland starts to go back at Hunter Engrov. Back down the pit straight. All this, again, allowing Brody Gunter to pull out more and more of a gap. Still 2 abreast for that number 2 position. And now Garcia under fire of his own from Joshua Hickey. The 49 car clearing for second. And Garcia able to keep Engrave at bay. Jake Erickson has dropped back quite a few positions now as he's got Paul Ellison, who he is fighting with at the moment. Oh, and now Erickson up into the outside wall. Oh, and he's into the outside wall hard. Came off the wall, then immediately overcorrected and got right back into it. That's a pretty nasty lick as well into that wall. That won't be good news. Right on board with Jake Erickson. Just got too high up in 3 and then came off the wall and back end started to snap and he pounded the wall again in 4. Erickson's going to need some luck. I think if he wants to get that 57 car back into contention. Up the road, it's the fight between Howland and Higgy for 3rd. Howland able to cling on for now. Down to the inside goes Rene Garcia. Oh, Garcia careful with that apron. Howland with the drive now. Back around the outside. Put Alex Howland back into 4th. An absolutely great first opening salvo of laps we've had here. Lots of hard-fought racing. Josh Rutherford, though, finding the fence. He's going to drop back to 8th now. And this fighting extends all the way throughout this field. You've got this pack from 4th on back to about 7th place. Then deeper behind, you got Paul Ellison battling with Nate Morris and Tommy Cook. And then further behind them, Erickson, Williams, and Fleming just trying to fight for not last. Paul Ellison, Nate Morris, and Tommy Cook all looking to duke it out. Tommy Cook working the high side, bringing out something a bit different than the usual turn 200 colors. He'll clear from Morris and put his his Royal Greenhorn Racing number 200 Mustang up into 11th. Paul Ellison sitting just up the road as well. Mark Krigke as well. Finding it out with Joshua Rutherford, and I think you just saw Cook getting a little bit, or Nate Morris getting a little bit crossed up deeper in the field. Howland, Rutherford, Garcia, both Rutherfords in fact in the midst of this. Morris is having a time of it deeper in the pack in this one, but we'll keep eyes on this fierce dogfighting for the time being. Because they are just going at it, and they're not showing any signs of stopping anytime soon. Corey Rutherford, we know he likes to save with the early going, and it looks like some of that longer run pace has started to come into play now. He'll take one up from Howland. Or will he? Because the 2 car able to fight back around the top shelf. Still working the inside line. Bottom side of turn 4. Corey Rutherford going to lose that one out. And Brody Gunter, the first car to hit pit road for green flag stops. Interesting call here from Brody Gunter, the first one to come down to pit road. Usually he stays out late. Joshua Rutherford. Oh boy, Rutherford's loose. Rutherford's loose. He'll recover. Garcia's loose. Mark Krinke has fought himself into the mix with some long run pace. The 313 up 6 positions. Now being sucked into the door of the 74. Alex Howland trying to come to pit road. Joshua Higgy is into pit road. Engrov's into pit road. And here comes Howland as well. This 4-car pack still remaining door to door. They're going to be all coming to pit road before too much longer, so drivers have got to start thinking about where they're going to try to put their cars. Looking like Rene Garcia's in, Corey Rutherford's in, Zittle's in, Joshua Rutherford's in, Cook is in. So that's most of the pack right there coming down to pit road. Speaking of Nate Morris, this was Morris's secondary slide that it had coming around through 3 and 4. Just a little loose there, a little loose. And that, of course, kind of puts him on the back foot. Meanwhile, pretty much the entire pack now coming down to pit road. Krenke is in, Paul Ellison staying out, going long. Now Ellison is in. And Paul Ellison, did he miss pit road altogether? Oh boy, yes he did. Oh, that's going to be a penalty for sure. So Paul Ellison's day going up in tire smoke as he locked it up, trying to get down to the lane. That's going to be a long penalty as well for an unsafe pit entry. Nate Morris coming down to pit road as well, and he was already in 1, so he is in now for a second time. He's only into 3.8 seconds on 1, so he may have forgotten to take any kind of service. So now Nate Morris is kind of on the back foot as well. Very split call throughout this field. Hunter Engrove into the race lead, but he took fuel only. Paul Ellison on a fresh set of 4 Goodyears. Very few cars actually taking tires. So Brody Gunter took fresh tires. Josh Beege right now running in 5th for the moment took 4 tires. And then Rene Garcia and Alex Howland also took 4 tires. Everyone else taking fuel only for their first pit stops of the day. So we're going to see Joshua Higgy just blitz through this field. He's going to get around Kyle Zitt without any effort. He's going to look to do the same with Corey Rutherford just up the road, and behind him, you've got Rene Garcia and Alex Howland trying to cut their way through some mid-pack traffic. So that's one less set of tires they're going to have to take later on down the line. So now, these drivers have gambled here early on going long on one set of tires late in the race. Alex Howland and Rene Garcia both going to get through. They're going to be able to try to drive away now on some of that fresh rubber. Josh Rutherford got a little crossed up out of turn 4, and now he's under fire from Mark Krenke. A lot of cars getting loose this afternoon. And that, I think, really has kind of put things up into some big, I think, it's thrown some wrenches into the mix here. The fact that some of these drivers have only taken fresh tires while everybody else is taking fuel only. It's going to mean there's going to be some big running order shakeups later in the race, and that has split this field up by a good margin in the first quarter. We're already working lap 36 of 160, and right now you're watching the 74 and the 2. Right now, 3 of the 4 or 5 cars on fresh tires cutting through some of this traffic. They're trying to fight for the 4th place spot right now. I'm curious to see how their pace falters as well. But we talked about cars getting loose. I mean, there's been a lot of loose moments today, and it's a bit surprising because, I mean, track temp, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Those are pretty good temps for stock car racing. Maybe a little bit on the chilly side, but not too far down there. Just goes to show the nature of this racetrack and how treacherous it can be. I mean, it's called one of the most treacherous mile-and-a-half ovals for a reason. So you got Howland, you got Zittle. Further behind, you got Rutherford, Krenke, Rutherford. Up the road, you got Engrove and Higgy. Hunter Engrove, the first driver out that is on a fuel-only strategy for now. So the top two separated by 4.3 seconds. And now that Brody Gunter is in the lead, I am fairly confident in toting him as the guy to win the regular series finale with this. I mean, this is a man that has won 7 races out of the 12 races that he has started so far all season long. And in the last several as well, I think it's really important to remember that in terms of the last 10 or so weeks, he's only been interrupted from victory lane 3 times. And in all 3 of those races, he still finished on the podium. And even last week at Interlagos, it was pretty close for the win as well. I mean, it was not, it came down to the last lap, just half a second, and it was between him and Joshua Higgy. So Brody Gunter is a driver that I think has got, well, he came in with something to prove, and now he is fully embroiled in these absolutely fierce fights in the midst of the pack. Rene Garcia, Alex Howland still within a tenth and a half of each other as they look to fight it out for the 4th place spot. But so far, Howland has not really been able to close down Howland all that much. They're all on the same pit strategy, so Howland's not going to have the same advantage that he's had on a lot of previous runs. This year, the biggest battle pack on the racetrack. Tommy Cook, Corey Rutherford, and Mark Krenke, 7th, 8th, and 9th under a blanket. And in fact, Krenke looking for the inside on Corey Rutherford. Rutherford trying to preserve those tires as the Mullen Music Productions Work in Progress Racing number 5 Camaro drops back to 9th. Very little, though, has this fuel-saving strategy really ever panned out for that number 5 car. There's been a few isolated instances all year round, but hasn't really had a stellar season in of himself. And Hunter Engrove coming to pit road early on this one. Comes in on lap 49. Now, this is surprising me because he only came down about 13 laps ago. So this is a really early stop for Hunter Engrove, and what this tells me is they were going to be short by about 13 laps on fuel, so he was only looking to run what he absolutely had to, and now he's going to be on fresh tires from here to the end. So he is deliberately putting himself off cycle on a huge gamble that this race is going to run near caution-free, or the caution is going to fall exactly as he needs them. That's a massive gamble when you've still got almost 100 laps, over 100 laps in the race. I don't know if that's a gamble I'd be taking this early on. Yikes, a huge bobble there for Tommy Cook. Krenke fights to the inside. And can the 313 make a place? He can. He's up to 6th. So that red and black 313 Camaro is now up to the number 6 position. Alex Howland still seeing if he's got something for Rene Garcia. They got another car that's going to be mimicking Engrove's strategy, and that one is Nate Morris. Nate Morris coming down to pit road. He unfortunately, I think I had to make a second trip to the lane. So now Morris is going to be coming down and into pit road. And he'll be putting on a fresh set of 4. Howland finally getting alongside Garcia. And he's going to make that pass down the front stretch and into turn 1. About to be working lap 50. Joshua Rutherford closing up on his brother as Corey has continued to lose time since the drop of the green flag after starting his race on pole. And I believe Corey Rutherford, I may have just heard him put that clutch in a little bit for that number 5 car. Might be trying to, again, make a fuel strat work. And that's exactly what he's doing. So he's already putting in the clutch really early in this run. He's trying to see if he can't make that strat work. It's a strategy he makes every single week. But again, I have no confidence that it's going to pay off. I mean, it's better that he starts it early in the race. He's got a higher chance of making it work, but I don't think it's going to beat the race-winning strategy this afternoon. Oh, especially not if he gets sideways like that coming out of turn number 2. Kicking the tail end out, and that no doubt gave Joshua Rutherford a scare just behind him. So we are 50 laps down. There is race leader Brody Gunter coming off at turn number 4. Getting close now to start to enter some of that lap traffic, but again, you have to take into consideration the fact that he is on 4 fresh tires, and he has to make a fuel-only stop later in the race. I have got Alex Howland and Rene Garcia closing back up again. 2 drivers that are also on the fresh 4 strat. They're about half a lap behind Gunter right now. Garcia's thinking about trying to make that dive. He wants to go for it. Gets a good over-under going through turn 1. Howland rebounds off the apron. And Garcia not going to commit. Give just a tiny little lift. Enough to allow Howland to continue to have that spot. I think right now, Alex Howland is trying to see if he can, Rene Garcia is trying to see if Alex Howland can drag them up to Joshua Ihiki. But again, that's 9.5 seconds up the road. Is that really the decision you want to make? I mean, it's not like they have to worry about it. These are 2 drivers that are very secure right now in terms of the points in how things are going to be looking for the playoff bid. But so far, not a whole lot to say about the events on the racetrack, as everything is more or less found its rhythm. So let's take a quick chance to thank the folks that helped to keep the lights on for the ASRL NextGen Cup Series, and what has been a pretty tame season so far, but a season that has been full of strategy to keep us more than entertained. Want to race something, but not sure if your setup is up to snuff? Want to race something made by someone who knows their stuff? Want to know why we're asking questions and why we fashion like some sort of poetry buff? Check out twrsetups.com. Their setups are meticulously crafted and personally run by their top-tier drivers to assure you get the best there is. So don't delay. Join the wild side of setup shops today. Jared Williams coming down to pit road for his second stop of the afternoon. First run of pit stops came around lap 30 or so, 30 to 31. So this second run only going to be about 5 or so laps away. Brody Gunter in pit road. He will bail and he'll look to pit early on this one. No doubt looking for the fresh 4. As well as that, Tommy Cook already on fresh rubber. Back from lap 30 has clawed his way back up to 6th. Gunter and Howland are into pit road. Corey Rutherford trying to fight up against Tommy Cook to keep him behind. Both these drivers on the fuel-only strat for that first stint. Joshua Higgy is ultimate at pit road. So I mentioned earlier how Nate Morris came on down only 13 laps after his first stint. He kind of realized, yeah, we got 13 laps. I don't think I can save that amount of fuel. Rutherford's been trying to save that from day one. Well, lap one here at this point in time. So Rutherford is trying to see if he can't save 13 whole laps of fuel by the end of this race. That's a tall order. It is doable considering how early he started it, but it's going to be mighty close if he can make it work. Oh, into the outside wall behind is Tommy Cook. I know a caution or two might really help out Corey Rutherford in his efforts. Joshua Higgy just got overtaken. He is down to 10th now. Well, Jake Erickson will fall back to 15th place again. Corey Rutherford now to the inside of Krinke. And this is the battle right now for 4th on track. Of course, Corey Rutherford is going to lose that once he initially comes down to pit road. Nobody coming down yet, but I can hear one car slowing up behind. That's going to be Tommy Cook. Cook looking up the fronts, and I think he managed to slow it down in time. 100 laps to go, and Tommy Cook has just hit pit road. More cars coming down to pit road. Rene Garcia, Kyle Zittel, Travis Fleming, Joshua Rutherford are in. Now at the end of their fuel runs. We're going to be seeing people down into pit road proper. You see Jake Erickson up on the jacks while Rene Garcia is already on his way out of pit road. Travis Fleming leaving the lane. Erickson on his way out, back onto the racetrack. Josh Rutherford still nursing some of that right side damage, and he is going to look like to take the repair to get himself back up onto the racetrack. In the pit road is Corey Rutherford. And you see just hiding behind him is Mark Krinke. They were close coming down to the lane. So these will be the last two cars to pit. Hunter Engrove is into second, but he is, again, about 15 to 17 laps off cycle right now when it comes to his pit stop run. There's Paul Ellison, the last car in this rotation we're waiting on to pit. It's the same story, by the way, with Nate Morris as Hunter Engrove. So, some drivers still opting for fuel only, and quite a few of those drivers were the ones that we saw taking tires on the last pit stop. So now Brody Gunter is taking a fuel only strategy. So is Joshua Higgy, Howland, Garcia, and Fleming are also taking fuel only. 7th place on back are on fresh tires. So while we wait for things to heat on up, we're going to take ourselves a quick step back. When we return, it's more racing action on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Yellow flag is out for the first time today. Right as we went to break, Brody Gunter maintains his lead. A good chunk of drivers had to stay out in order to avoid going a lap down. And this is the reason why we find ourselves under the yellow flag, as Travis Fleming just got caught up with your race leader, Brody Gunter there. Got a little sideways up in turn 2, spun down to the bottom, and that, well, that was that. That allowed Hunter Engroff to try to make a charge of the race lead, but it did give the lead back to Brody Gunter. Tell you what, though, that was a mighty fine save from that 0-1. Travis Fleming able to recover as well. Right on board with Gunter here. See how far side was that car got. He did a good job to lock it down and get it back underneath him. But that puts us under the yellow flag for the first time today. Gunter, Engroff, Hickey, Howland, and Garcia were all able to use that caution flag to put themselves back on the cycle with the others in terms of tires. Save, of course, for drivers like Kyle Zittel, Tommy Cook, Travis Fleming, Corey Rutherford, and Joshua Rutherford. Right now, the bottom 7 have not come down to pit road. And in fact, a lot of them have stayed out on the racetrack in order to avoid going the lap down because of the timing of this yellow flag. So Brody Gunter and Hunter Engroff going to be aligned it up 1-2 on the front row. Gunter picking the inside for the restart. Joshua Hickey going to be back in 3rd. Howland in 4th, rounding out the top 3 rows. You're going to be having, of course, Rene Garcia and then Kyle Zittel. So we'll restart this race with 90 laps to go. Had a good long run there to kick things off. Now we're able to hopefully take a leisurely stroll through towards the end of this race. Pace cars off. We'll see what happens here. Expecting the top 6 to break away because they are on much fresher tires now by about 10 laps. Green flag is up in the air. We're racing. Well, I expected them to break away quickly, but not quite that quickly, as Hunter Engrove and Brody Gunter continued to duke it out with one another. They were able to open up a near 1 second gap by the time they got around through turn 1. Talk about catching the field, napping behind you. Wow, what a jump from this field that caused them to just break away from each other. Kyle Zillow now duking it out with Jake Erickson further down the field. Erickson still several laps down in this pack. Rene Garcia and Alex Howland we're going side by side further up the field. They're in the battle now for 4th and 5th. Up from the bottom side, Garcia able to just clear out. Meanwhile, Joshua Hegan and Hunter Engrove are now in a battle. Whoa, boy, look out for Engrove. Getting quite a bit twitchy there as he came down the pit straight. Well, coming down through 3 and 4, and now down the pit straight, side by side with Joshua Hige. Gunter continuing to break away further and further up into the lead of this one. There is the 49. Continuing to hang on. Brody Gunter, Hunter Engrove, Joshua Hige, all tucked up line astern. Started to separate a little bit more deeper in the pack. You've got a lot more drivers that are looking to go side by side. Whether they're on the same lap or not. Jared Williams just unlapped himself from Rene Garcia. 10 cars remain on the lead lap, but all 15 are still in the race. Tommy Cook has just gotten past Rene Garcia as well. That was for 6th. And now for the lead, here comes Hunter Engrove. Engrove making the charge for the inside. He'll secure one from Brody Gunter, and that puts the 49 car back onto the top spot. Gunter with 7 wins under his belt this season, not about to take it lying down, cuts to the inside. Gunter's been chasing that record, and he was able to take the record a couple of weeks ago for not just the most races won consecutively in a single season with ASRL, but the most wins in a single season as well. And that was taken up from the 49 car. And now you can really tell, I think Engrove wants to try to make a run to take that record back, and Gunter doesn't want to let him have a chance. Joshua Hige still in the mix as well in the fight for 3rd. Down the racetrack, Joshua Rutherford, Rene Garcia, and Corey Rutherford all packed up underneath one another, and there you see Joshua Hige shooting to the inside, and he's going to take 2 for 2 in just 1 lap. And just seconds away from each other, Joshua Hige is just taking not just 2nd, but also the race lead. Take a look at this. I mean, look at this. He shoots the inside of Gunter. Gunter lifts up, and Hige says, you know what? I want one more. Let me just take that lead away from you. Brilliant move there from Joshua Hige to put himself onto the top step. Now he's got to try to drive away with it. Or he could try to maintain that gap to save some tires for later. The Rutherford duo once again looking to go at it. Remember, this is all coming down to the last lap now of stage number 1. So these drivers fighting big for stage points. Points that can be oh so critical to a championship bid. Off of turn number 4, Joshua Higgy will take top points. Then it's Gunter, Engrove, Zittel all just steals 4th away from Howland. Then it was Cook, Corey Rutherford, Joshua Rutherford, Rene Garcia, and Travis Fleming will pick up the top 10. So the top 10 in points have just been scored for stage 1. And with that, we're 80 down, 80 to go. Kyle Zittel on old tires round the long way of Hunter Engrove. Engrove wanted to get up there, get some good points, and now he is slowly dropping back through this field. In fact, he's dropping back in a hurry here, so something going on with that 49 car for sure. He's now into the clutches of Alex Howland, and that is Mark Krinke behind, who is a lap down. So Alex Howland going to just hang on to that move there. Then you have Joshua and Corey Rutherford that are still behind. Joshua and Corey, of course, are going down to the 3 and 4. Then you have Joshua Higgy and Brody Gunter. Still running 1-2 for the time being with the 099 and the 01. Field started to spread out. Brody Gunter, in fact, I think put it in the clutch. I think I just heard the 01 put that the old clutch in there, trying to save some fuel. Listen in. He's shutting that car off entirely. That tells a story. So that is why we see Joshua Higgy now breaking ahead with that race lead. Curious on how Corey Rutherford and Josh Rutherford and other drivers that were on an old fuel saving strategy in the past might be looking to adapt. Sounds like Corey Rutherford might still be putting in the clutch. He's getting ever closer to Joshua Rutherford, now looking for the inside. He puts in that clutch pedal and yet still managing to take the spot away from his brother Joshua. Talk about commitment. I mean, making up spots while saving fuel. I don't think anybody, any racer at least, would certainly complain about that. Tommy Cook and Hunter Engrove going at it for 5th and 6th. Got about 17 and a half seconds from top to bottom for cars on the lead lap. I think a lot more drivers started to realize, hey, there is a fuel strategy here that is viable to try to cut out a last-minute splash and dash. And they're trying to see just how viable it is. Right on board with Alex Howland as he tries to hunt down Kyle Zittel up the road. He's found the inside, hunting for the inside. That's the word I was looking for. Then I just completely lost it right in the middle of saying it. Kyle Zittel will fall back to 4th. He'll lose out on the podium. Alex Howland now up to the number 3 spot. So Howland continuing to charge. Oh, he's going to catch the fence, though, a little bit, coming off of 4. Got to be careful of that. Then it will catch you out any day of the week and just mess your day right up. So this right here, the closest duo on the racetrack is Howland and Zittel. Oh, behind Nate Morris, getting a little bit more crossed up. This 25 car man, I mean, he has been struggling with car control all day today. Just can't keep that car going in the right direction, it seems. Coming to pit road is Tommy Cook, locking up the fronts as he tries to get down to pit road in time, and he'll be the first car to come in this time around. Meanwhile, Gunter and Hege now separated by only 0.6 of a second as Brody Gunter started to once again reel in. The 099 up the road, your defending champion could be under some fire here from Brody Gunter before too long. Tommy Cook is in a pit road. Now I think the big question is, how long is it going to take for Gunter to close this gap back down to Hege? So 4.5 of a second. Now between the top two, more cars coming to pit road. Joshua Rutherford is right now just leaving pit road. Jarrett Williams and Travis Fleming are both in the pits right now as well. So our next round of pit stops fully underway, just shy of the triple-digit mark for the lap counter. Brody Gunter putting on the afterburners as he tries to hunt down the 099. And that Exalta 01 Mustang, once again, not showing any signs of slowing down. And why would he? Joshua Hege sees the writing on the wall. He's going to opt for the undercut strategy before Brody Gunter can try to get him with it. He comes down to pit road, and Alex Howland going to be following him in. And fuel only again for Joshua Hege. So that now I think is 2 fuel only stops that Hege has taken. There is Howland taking a fuel only call. Corey Rutherford still in pit road. They're double file right now for the number 2 spot. Hunter Engrove trying to get around Kyle Zittel up the hill. Engrove gets through. He is on fresh tires. Kyle Zittel still working on some older rubber that he took underneath that lap 65 caution flag. And now Zittel is coming to pit road as well. Mark Krenke is in. Nate Morris is in. No problems for these for this trio. So Gunter, Zittel, Garcia, Krenke, Morris, and Erickson all into the pits. And in fact, Nate Morris just left pit road. And here comes Brody Gunter, your race leader. And now Hunter Engrove coming to pit road, and he came in a wee bit hot. I think he got down to the pits in time. 60 laps on the docket. That'll now be 59 as Engrove, the race leader, crosses the timing line. Brody Gunter coming off of turn number 4. This pit stop run looking like it will leave 9 still on the lead lap. So Krenke did go down a lap with all of that. Travis Fleming is just barely clinging onto the lead lap right now. He is begging for a caution so we can try to stay on the lead lap. Tommy Cook just got around Engrove as Engrove makes his way out of pit road back onto the racetrack. Oh, look out, Paul Ellison coming down to the track. Got to keep a heads up for that. Ellison was trying to lap Nate Morris. Didn't realize Engrove was going to be coming up. And a bit of a close encounter there, coming off of 2. But that's it. Pit stop's complete once again. Another very split decision when it comes to tires or no tires. Tommy Cook, I believe, he either took fuel only or took 2. I think he took 2 with a 10.2 second pit stop. Hunter Engrove behind is on a set of 4. Troy Rutherford's on a set of 4. Here comes Rene Garcia. He's getting around Joshua Rutherford, obviously on a set of 4. Right now, the car's on fuel only strats for that last stint. Gunter, Hege, Howland, and Joshua Rutherford all took fuel only on their latest stops. Man, I'm excited about the pit strategy discussions we've had so far here this afternoon. I mean, you can see really just kind of where all the pit strategies have lined on up from the start of the race. You really tell how much that caution just after the second run of stops really kind of threw everything into whack. So Gunter, in fact, that is his second fuel-only stop that he's taken. He took one as well right before the caution came out, but he did hold on to the lead, so there was no point in going on another fuel-only stop. Could have lost in the lead. Now he at least manages to hold it. It's the same story for Howland, same story for Hege. Corey Rutherford took his fuel-only stop earlier in the race, and now we see him looking to take tires to the end. Josh Rutherford, further down the field, just took a second fuel-only stop after he already took a fuel-only stop early in the race. So I'm not sure what his strategy call is. Hunter Engrove getting to the inside of Alex Howland, and that will leave Engrov up. Well, it'll lead Engrov up into third. Only 6 seconds off race leader Brody Gunter, and he is closing that gap pretty quickly here. But at present, he is fighting his way through a host of lap traffic. Just got around the outside of Ericsson. Now right up the back bumper of Joshua Rutherford, and Krenke is just up the road. Krenke, of course, the latest car to go down a lap in this race, leaving just 8 now on the lead lap out of the 15 that started, and yet all 15 still in the running. Further down the field, Paul Ellison trying to use this to his advantage, try to close up and battle it out with that 313 for the 9th place spot, as he's going to peek to the inside. Oh, sorry, that's Joshua Rutherford peeking the inside of Krenke. I don't know what I'm talking about. But Paul Ellison is there. He is still there, and he is going to be trying to make that look pretty soon here, but first he's going to have to get around the lap car of Joshua Rutherford. Meanwhile, you look up to Brody Gunter. I mean, over the last several laps, I mean, I think it's pretty clear at the moment that Engrov is closing. We're talking about 1.1 seconds pretty reliably every lap or so. So don't see anything stopping Engrov from getting around Heat without too much effort. I think he may have actually gotten into the wall that last time there, coming off of turn number 4. I don't know, can't tell if there's damage. Oh my goodness, he really got close to the fence that time by, and I think he did catch the wall there off it too. Engrov will look to the inside, and this doesn't look like it'll be a battle that will take too long to get itself sorted. Sure enough, 49 car into second. Gap down to just 1.2 now for the race lead. And it's closing by over a second a lap. There you go, both leaders in the same shot. How hard is Brody Gunter going to fight Engrov here when he is so obviously on a different strategy and so obviously the quicker of the two right now? He's still going to force him to go the long way around. But it is over like that. Hunter Engrov straight to the race lead. While that was going on, Rene Garcia and Corey Rutherford both got around Tommy Cook for 5th. This was the pass to the number 5 spot coming up in turns 3 and 4. And just a lap or two, just one lap later, this is the pass for 6th. I think Cook got into the wall in 2 from the looks of things. Rene Garcia now closing out to the back of Corey Rutherford. I think Corey Rutherford might still be saving a little bit of fuel, which would definitely explain why Garcia is closing in so heavily. And again, already we're not too far away for the next round of pit stops. About halfway through this stint. Garcia to the inside. Garcia takes the spot. Racing action continuing on from Kansas Speedway. We'll return in a moment on Green Flag TV with more. Still in the green flag conditions. Only one yellow flag so far in this race, and we come back just in time for pit stops. Joshua Higgy, Alex Howland, Tommy Cook into pit road for what could be the final time, but they will have to do some fuel saving if they want to try to go the distance to make it to the end of this race. There is less than 40 laps remaining. It's about 36 as it stands right now. It's a long way to go. They might have to be forced to come down to pit road. It's going to be close on fuel, and it's going to be an entertaining run to the end, provided we don't get another yellow flag to kind of shake things up. Rene Garcia and Corey Rutherford have been in the big battle ever since, and you saw them break around Alex Howland as well. These guys have not been able to get away from each other all throughout that break. They were fighting it out for spots. Now, they do battle for the final spot inside the podium, but that is, of course, on the racetrack, not factoring the final run of pit stops that is yet to take place for them. Travis Fleming is now into pit. I do believe we are now back. And apologies for the brief drop in connection. Some technical difficulties that we were having to deal with there, but we should be back up and working now. As the field continues its strong march deep into the final 30 or so laps of this race. And just in time, here comes Garcia, here comes Corey Rutherford into pit road. The 74 and the 5 will be coming in for their final stop of the race, and this should be enough to get Corey Rutherford to the end of the race. Hunter Engrove still out on the racetrack, and the caution comes out right in the middle of pit stops. Krinke spins it, and that brings out the yellow flag. Right at the cusp. Gunter still with the race lead, still has yet to pit. Does he have enough fuel to make it back around under caution? Oh boy. Well, this race just kicked into overdrive. Take a quick look. Krinke coming out of pit road on fresh tires, on cold tires. Just got too throttle happy, I think. Yeah, you can already see the second he shifted up, that back end came around. I'm surprised that brought out a yellow flag. Why did that bring out a caution? He's so far down on the racetrack. I don't understand it. Take another look. Oh, he money shifted. I thought the car shot around a bit quick, so instead of upshifting into third, he downshifted to first. Brody Gunter comes down to pit road. I, for the life of me, cannot fathom why that was a caution. He was so far down on the racetrack. Brody Gunter, the only one to come to pit road under this yellow flag. Unsurprisingly so, everybody literally just came down. Try to take a look. So we're going to stop things here and take a quick glance through everybody. I don't see anybody else, though, having problems. I mean, the only one that spun around was Krinke. He's the only one this could have possibly been. Hunter Engrove did enter pit road, and he never left, but that's not anything at all. Why was that a caution? So many instances where iRacing doesn't throw it when you have cars stopped on the racing line, and then it throws it for one that's, 4 or 5 car lengths onto the apron? Are you kidding me? Well, a bunch of drivers now that pitted shy of being able to make it are going to come in now to top up on fuel. They'll be good to go the distance. These are all cars, though, that are now a lap down. I cannot believe this. There's only 2 cars on the lead lap of this race right now. And one of them is Corey Rutherford. That is unbelievable to me. If that was an iRacing thrown caution, I'm going to say it. iRacing dropped the ball. That should not have been a caution. He was so far out of the way. Even from cars exiting pit road, there's no reason for that. That's ruined a perfectly good fuel race at the end. So, Brody Gunter with the race lead. Corey Rutherford in second. Rene Garcia in third. I'm sorry, Joshua Hickey now in third. Garcia back to fourth. And it's Howland, Cook, Josh Rutherford, Kyle Zittel, Paul Ellison, and Travis Fleming. Coming up on Green Flag TV over the next few weeks. Well, not over the next few weeks, over the next few days. The High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Premier Series races at the Kentucky Speedway at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. They were due to race in Martinsville, but after the first few weeks, they decided, we're going to save that. So they have switched Martinsville and Kentucky on the schedule. The ASRL Cup Series were there, penultimate race out at the Iowa Speedway. The Beer League goes Heritage Racing. They'll be out at Silverstone, an ever-famed circuit at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, we'll have the SRA Mini Stock Series on Saturday night at 7:55 p.m. Eastern Time for the Langley Stock Racer 125 at Langley Speedway. So, we'll try to get this show back on the road. Brody Gunter in the lead. As the pace car comes off of turn number 4 in what has got to be one of the most abnormal sights you ever did see. He'll lead us into the restart zone. 3 cars are on the lead lap as we go to green. Gunter with a 1.8 second lead over Corey Rutherford. Rutherford's got an entire pack between himself and the leaders. 25 to go. Rene Garcia battled with Corey Rutherford for second at the back of the pack. I never thought I'd say that today. Garcia gets through to second. Krinke, Jarrah Williams are right now duking it out for 10th and 11th. Tommy Cook, Alex Howland, and Kyle Zittel scrapping it down further behind for 6th and 7th. Then Joshua Rutherford and Paul Ellison are going at it for 8th and 9th. 25 laps on the docket. Less than that now. Joshua Hickey has just unlapped himself. He is now into 4th. If a caution comes out, he'll stay on the lead lap. Tommy Cook trying to do the same. The problem is Gunter doesn't have to save fuel anymore. Now he's able to just push it hard right to the end of the race. Alex Howland and Mark Krinke side by side, but these are 2 drivers that aren't on the same lap. So this is not a fight for position. Who Howland is fighting is that orange and blue Camaro behind him of Kyle Zittel's number 53 for Superkick Revival Racing. So Kyle Zittel will be able to take one to the inside. And with that, Zittel, can he try to get through and into the number 6 spot? Two by two as we work down to the turn numbers 3 and 4. Off to the inside, Zittel makes contact with Howland, forces him up the racetrack, and Alex Howland gets through. And now Garcia taken to the inside of Kyle Zittel. Garcia still trying to see if he's got any kind of chance to win this race. He connects with the side of Zittel there. As they duke it out, coming down towards the turns 1 and 2, and now down to the backstretch. Joshua Rutherford and Paul Ellison. 2 more cars that are pedaling down to the bottom side of the racetrack. And Ellison is going to track up, and he's going to be able to get in there as well with Joshua Rutherford. Ellison continuing to keep on the pressure. Under 20 laps to go. Deeper in the, deeper on the timing screen, but further up in this pack is Mark Krinke, Jared Williams, and Travis Fleming. They're having a 3-way scrap right now. This is for the last spot inside the top 10, which is still very much up for grabs. Williams to his inside, and that should put Jared Williams now up at a 10th, and looking like Travis Fleming started to drop back a bit from the outside. Jared Williams still under pressure. Krinke trying to battle back around his outsides. They come down into turns 3 and 4. No dice, though, for now. 313, not giving up. Now looking for the inside. And that is going to quickly have the door slammed shut on his face. Krinke now to the inside of Jared Williams, trying to use that side draft, pinching him up to the outside wall into turn 3. They cut to the inside for 4, and Williams falls back to 11th. Krinke retakes the 10th place spot. And now Higgy, Cook, Howland, Zittel. 4 cars, line astern. Oh, look out for Cook! Cook slides the tail end out, and here comes Alex Howland. Howland charging around the top. Kyle Zittel still in the fray. Rene Garcia's in the mix. And looking like Tommy Cook is going to end up losing 4 spots in about just 2 laps. The problem that these guys have is because of how and when that caution came out, a lot of cars that are laps down are still packed up around cars that are on the lead lap, and everybody's in their own little battle, so nobody's wanted to give anything, and it's making it almost impossible for these drivers to actually have a coherent fight for position. A dozen laps on the docket. Brody Gunter continuing to hang on to the lead by 1.15 seconds. That gap now extended to 1.2. And he just caught the walls. That's going to split things up a bit. go again. Rene Garcia now almost kicking the tail end out. Garcia having to pedal it. Joshua Higgy right behind Kyle Zittel trying to find it in. Tommy Cook looking for his inside. Remember, Rene Garcia in all of this is the second place runner. Still on the lead lap for that number 74 entry. So Higgy, Cook, Howland, Zittel, all of them tucked under a blanket, and Brody Gunter is just taking off into the distance. 9 laps to go this time by. Tommy Cook and Paul Ellison remain 2 abreast. Oh, now Cook sideways again. He's into the wall. Not letting them get their tires sorted for anybody in this field right now. Howland and Kyle Zittel, and now the next 2 that are side by side. Eight laps to go. Look out. Garcia sideways. Krinke sideways. They're both able to catch it coming off of 2. Drivers pedaling hard for it. Zittel and Higgy still side by side. And they're about to try to split Rene Garcia, who's on the lead lap, going 3 wide down to turn 1. Higgy backs out. And Zittel takes 1 away. But Josh Higgy immediately trying to size up a pass around the outside. Higgy's been good on the top shelf. That's where he has thrived all day long. He gets around Zittel. He's trying to get around Howland. But Rene Garcia still just in the way. They can't get around him. I think Higgy's done playing here. He's going to quickly look to make short work of Rene Garcia here. Meanwhile, here comes Paul Ellison. Now 3 wide for the final spot inside the top 5 as we get down to the turn numbers 1 and 2. Kyle Zittel way up the top side. Howland backs off, as does Paul Ellison. Ellison and Howland carrying their own momentum down to the turn numbers 1 and 2, and up the track goes Rene Garcia almost into the wall. 4 to go at the line. And finally, I think we're starting to find a little bit of order right towards the back end of this race. Oh my. Holy cow, Cook. I don't know what I just saw, but it just defied physics from what I saw. Right on board with Tommy. He's just trying to hang on to the tail end, and all of a sudden, he's going to straddle the apron here. Oh, sorry, that was about a lap ago. Jump a bit further up. Yikes! Just shot the car sideways and somehow wrestled it underneath him. Joshua Higgy into the wall. He's going to let Kyle Zittel and Paul Ellison through. Coming to 2 to go at the stripe. Time is running out for drivers that are continuing to battle it out. Tommy Cook and Joshua Rutherford side by side again down the front stretch. Only a lap and a half to go for the regular series season for the ASRL NextGen Cup Series. Joshua Higgy now hunting to the inside of Paul Ellison. Can't make the look. Brody Gunter drives off of turn number 4. He'll take the white flag. We're working the final lap. Gunter with absolutely no competition behind. He has absolutely crushed the regular series season, mopped the floor with the pack. Off of the American Ethanol backstretch for the final time. Out of turn number 4 for the 8th time. Brody Gunter is into victory lane at Kansas Speedway. The rest of the pack sized up their own little battles as they... Oh boy, Paul Ellison's out of fuel. Paul Ellison runs out of fuel, and instead of going for the spot, Tommy Cook will push him across the line. Great sportsmanship there in the fight for 8th. Higgy passed up Ellison. Howland passed up Ellison. Josh Rutherford passed up Ellison. Tommy Cook was not about to do the same. He slowed up and helped Paul Ellison get across the stripe. That's a feel-good story to close things out for the regular series season. But Brody Gunter, my man, 8 different race wins. I cannot believe this. All of them in one season. He has finished in the top 10 in the regular series season every single race bar one. It doesn't get much better than this. And he'll put on a smoke show on the front stretch. And that will bring us to a close of the regular series season. We'll take a rundown of your official post-race results here this afternoon from the Kansas Speedway. What a strange way to close things out and enter playoff season. Brody Gunter with a race win. Rene Garcia in second. Corey Rutherford in third to close out the cars on the lead lap. From there, it's Kyle Zittel, Josh Mahigi, Alex Howland, Josh Rutherford, Paul Ellison, Tommy Cook, and Mark Krenke all finishing at least one lap down due to a somewhat questionable yellow flag on iRacing's part. Jared Williams finishes his race in 11th. Fleming was 12th, Nate Morris 13th, Jake Erickson was 14th, Hunter Engrove decided to bail from this race 30 laps from the end. He'll finish his race down in 15th. So that is it then. Racing action has drawn to a close this afternoon. And we're going to get a chance now to give a chit chat here to all the drivers that finished this race up on the podium here this afternoon. It is none other than one Brody Gunter that's able to come home and pick up the race win here this afternoon. And we get a chance to talk to the driver that takes home an 8th race win this season. And Brody could not have gone to end out the regular series season much better than this by taking just one more win just to throw into the face of everyone else. Overall, talk us through the day, because this one ended up being a bit of a strange one near the end.
Yeah, I mean, the strategy was all over the place for me. I would say this is probably one of my luckiest races this season, so great. That's going to tell you what the next 3 are going to be, probably the opposite. So I'm looking forward to that, but it was very interesting from the moment for the first pit stop where I accidentally forgot to uncheck tires and took tires on the first pit stop when I didn't want to. And then with that caution when like 90 to get restarting at 90 to go, first time actually fuel saving. So that was very interesting, turning the car off and clutching. It's definitely a stupid feeling since you couldn't actually be able to do that in real life. But then it worked out in the end with that final caution on right there at the end. I was concerned about having a third caution with all those lap cars behind me battling, because Corey we were in the same chat. He was talking about he had a tire set left, and I could imagine him be starting third with a brand new set compared to me and Renee. He'd probably absolutely smoke us on the restart. But yeah, just a lot of like scenarios where I just got lucky.
Overall, you have absolutely crushed it during the regular series season. You could not have asked for a more successful season than this one. The only race where you didn't finish inside the top 10 was at the track where you went flipping over for just week number 2. But there's still 3 races left. The catch now, that 150-plus point lead that you had is gone. It's a full points reset, of course, for playoff season. How do you think things are going to stack up for you at Texas and North Wilkesboro after?
Well, it's Legacy Texas, I believe, so I don't know how that's going to go in the next gen. These things hate bumps. I'm pretty sure that track is bumpy, and Texas not my favorite track. And then, what do you say was the second to last race?
That'd be North Wilkesboro.
Oh, that's going to be even probably better than Texas. I love the short track, so I think I'll do decently well there. It's just I don't know how the car is going to be yet. With how these steps have been, I can actually imagine better than I think it's going to be. But I'm looking forward to whatever y'all's pick was for the final race. I hope it's something good.
Well, I guess you'll find out in a couple weeks then, won't you? But Brody, once again, congratulations on taking things home. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the start of playoffs in Fort Worth.
All right, thank you guys.
Brody Gunter comes home with the #1 spot here this afternoon. We'll see if we can't get in touch with Rene Garcia here. The driver, the number 74, comes home with a rather lucky P2 to close out his regular series season. And, well, Rene, we don't get to talk to you all that much, but this afternoon, you're the one that comes away with the #2 spot and one of just 3 cars on the lead lap. Kind of talk us through the night.
I just gotta say, woohoo, man. I can't believe it. I'll take it. I felt fast, and everything was working out. I was hanging out with Alex the whole time. I gotta apologize to him for bumping him coming into pits. But it was fun. It was crazy. Pit strategies was fun. Tire saving. I felt like I could have finished third without that caution, maybe fourth. But you know what? I'll take P2.
And I will say that with this, you are going to be able to fight your way further up into the regular series season. But unfortunately, I don't think it was enough this afternoon to secure your run into the top 10 for the playoffs. So it looks like your championship bid might end here. But if that is indeed the case, how are you going to be approaching these last 3 races?
For sure, a lot of respect to the playoff drivers. But you know, I haven't been super fast this season. It's like I lost my mojo. But if I'm competitive, I'm gonna go for it. But if I'm not competitive, I'll just run what I have to run. I don't wanna be the reason why someone loses the championship.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck nonetheless when things go out to the last 3 races of the season. It's, of course, Fort Worth, Texas next and Texas Motor Speedway, so we'll see you out for another one.
Sounds good, man. Thank you. Just want to say thank you to my wife, my kids, 420 Motorsports, Eminent Science and Graphics, the crew, Alex, Jarrell, Josh, Travis, Nick, everyone. You too, Nolan, ASRL for hosting this. It's just fun. Anyone out there that thinks this is not challenging, I challenge you to come race with us. It's challenging. This means a lot to me. I'm getting interviewed because it's been forever. So if you guys think this league is easy, it's not. It's a lot of tough competition out here.
Rene Garcia with his FTM number 74 comes home with the #2 spot here this afternoon. And that will bring up Corey Rutherford, the 3rd place driver and the 3rd car to finish this race on the lead lap, and the last car to finish this race on the lead lap as well. Corey, you, of course, were going for the fuel strategy, as you so often do. You kind of lucked out there with a caution, though, to allow you to be on the strategy, and, of course, it's the last car on the lead lap as well with that. Overall, talk through what was a pretty strange way to close out the regular series season.
Well, yeah, I realized after that first pit stop that I was actually doing pretty decent on fuel mileage, and if I could save some fuel, I might be able to cut out a pit stop if it went green the entire way. And either way, trying to save fuel, it was actually helping the car drive better, go figure. So I just, even when I didn't need to save fuel, I was doing it anyway, just because the car was driving better. But it paid dividends because on that last pit stop right before the caution, I was saving my tires well enough that I was gonna gamble and not take tires on that last pit stop and hope for a late caution, and I was able to get out of the pits without getting trapped, so I got the lucky dog and got back on the lead lap and just rode. I needed the late race caution though.
Yeah, you of course you entered this race 4th place in the points entering tonight. And with that, you were pretty much locked into the playoffs, let's be honest, as it was. So you were able to kind of ride around and finish wherever. But it's not going to be the same story 2 weeks from now when we return at Texas Motor Speedway. It's round 1 of the playoffs. Do you think a championship bid is now on the cards for you with the points reset?
Anything's possible. Stranger things have happened these last few weeks, exception of Interlagos, and had a couple podiums and have been putting together some consistent finishes. So I'm hoping for at least a top 3 in points. If I could do that, that'd be fantastic. I think we're gonna have a hard time catching Brody, but with a 3-race playoff, all it takes is one bad race for him, and it's a wide open field.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing 2 weeks from today. For now, congratulations on 3rd place at Kansas.
Thank you.
Corey Rutherford with the Mullet Music Productions, work in progress. Number 5, Chevy Camaro brings things home with the number 3 spot. And with that, that is going to just about do it then for the regular series season. Boy, oh boy, what a race, what a championship it's been so far. And there's still quite a ways to go yet as well throughout things in the playoff season as well. Don't forget, you've got the round of, the round of 10, I believe it is, coming on up for just 1 race. 3 races, and 2 of them will eliminate. The 3rd one will crown a champion with the final 4. Don't forget as well, you got the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Premier Series racing out from Kentucky. Coming on up tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The ASRL Cup Series getting set to eliminate 4 more drivers before they reset for the round of 4 and the final 4 as well. It'll be the final race of the round of 8 at the Iowa Speedway coming up on Tuesday. And then, of course, the Beer League will be out at Silverstone once again across the pond in the UK on Wednesday night. Speed Cup Series is off for this week, but they'll be back in 2 weeks. And, of course, ASRL with their 2-week break as well. Still ways to go at the championship, but we are officially in playoff season. What a time it is going to be. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. My name is Manola Rembo, bringing you all the action on Green Flag TV. For the ASRL guys, enjoy the Halloween. We'll see you when we return in the Lone Star State.